Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Blue Review. I am back with Marcus Grant and Corporate Greg. Of course, I am Parker Bell, and we got an exciting weekend ahead of us. The Mets are in town, the Metropolitans. Happy, what do we want to call this, Greg? Hoodie and hat Fridays, I guess?
Yeah.
There it is.
Well, Marcus has the hoodie. He doesn't have the hat though, so it can't be
No.
hoodie and hat
That's
day.
true. That's true. I mean, he's got the
Yeah.
headphones. That's some sort of headgear, I guess. But Greg, we're going to get into a whole bunch today. We're going to kind of check in how we're feeling about the season, 21 games in, look at how they were in the past, this whole playoff run for what is it, 13, 14 years at this point, see where they were during those years, and just kind of get into this Mets series. But before we do so, I'm just going to go ahead and remind everyone that the Blue Review is presented by Los Angeles International Airport. Our friends at LAX are just changing the travel experience, reducing traffic, saving guest time, and just making things better for everyone. Sedano's home away from home. And if you want to know more about that, you can learn at flylax.com/transforminglax. Greg, I'm going to toss it to you because you kind of wanted to get into something early in this morning.
Yeah, I wanted to get into something really early. So Casper Via and Crypto Ray do something called a Two Dudes One Pod podcast, and it's really cool what they're doing. They're a big supporters of everything that we do here at ESPN LA, and because they're so supportive, I want to be supportive of something that they are doing. And also, Chris Ward of the Green Cross is very much in conduction. They're all together on this. So today at the original Canna Market in on West 1654 West Carson Street, there is going to be a weedchella is what is what it's called. So there are vendors, food, music, photo booth, games. It is a consumption event. So if you want to go down there and hang out with Two Dudes One Pod, Crypto Ray and Casper Via, it's going to be a great time. And also Leon Hendricks, the Leon Hendricks experience is going to be there, and that's Jimi Hendrix's brother, who does basically everything that he did. It's Jimi Hendrix's set through his brother, which I think is very, very cool. So that's happening all day at the Canna Market for down in Torrance. If you have a chance to get down there, go hang out with them. Really good dudes. Shout out to the Cot.
Sounds like a great time. Marcus, are you a big Jimi Hendrix guy?
I am. I mean, I do love Hendrix. Until we started the show today, I did not know of the existence of Leon Hendrix. So this is all new to me. I wish I could get down there. Like, I would definitely try to get down there because not having been able to see Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy passed before I joined this earth. It'd be fun to see like what it might have been like.
Yeah, he was always one of my favorites. I just want to know, do you think Leon uses his teeth to play the guitar?
Does he use his teeth? Is he left-handed?
Oh, like, yeah. Oh.
So that's the big question.
Is he left-handed?
Yeah. Be pretty cool if he was. I would go down there just for that. I'm not a big consumption person. Actually, I'm not at all. But I would go down there just for that.
Yeah. I'm looking at pictures of Leon Hendrix, and it does not look like he's left-handed. Just judging by the pictures.
Don't let that deter you.
Don't let that stop you. No, absolutely. Go have a good time. Like, absolutely. I'm just putting that out there for people. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, of course, everybody, welcome to the chat. I see you in there, and Casper Via. Speaking of, I see you in the chat. So welcome.
Big supporter. We got to support him in his endeavors as well.
That's right. Shout out to the Circle. Shout out to Crypto Ray and Casper Via and everyone who tunes in. And of course, if you have any questions today, Fridays, we like to get to as many questions as possible. So we will do so. But all right, let's kind of get into this series. I mean, no Dodgers last night, so nothing to kind of react to, but a lot to preview. How are we feeling about Yamamoto on the bump today? I think he's against Manea, the former Padre, and just kind of been all over the league. What are we looking forward to tonight? And Greg, we'll start with you. Can they get this series dub this weekend?
Man, I would love to get a series dub because they've lost 3 of their last 4. Basically, what I want to see from Yamamoto, it's the first inning. The first inning, to me, is the most important for him because he's always seemed that if he gets out of it, he cruises through the rest of it through the first 5 innings. He doesn't really go more than that. But if I want to see that his curveball is moving how it's supposed to be moving, his splitter is his out pitch, the things that he normally does, and pitch like he had been before. Because this is not against the Padres, so this is where it comes into play of Padres versus not Padres. Let's see. I want to see if he gets through the first inning. I think he cruises.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. I think he's getting through that first inning. It's being a little bit more efficient. I mean, I know right now they're not letting guys go deep in the games, and that's whatever. But if he can get through, let's see if he can get through 6, right? I mean, everything's been kind of 5 innings for him most of the time. Let's see if he can get through 6 innings, be fairly efficient. Let's see if he attacks hitters right now, because that's the thing that I've noticed. It feels like, even if he gets ahead in the count, he's still trying to get a lot of guys to chase out of the zone. And I think right now, a lot of hitters are waiting to see if he can get them out in the zone. So I want to see if he's going to be more aggressive, if he's going to attack a little bit more. And let's see if he can keep this streak of non-Padres starts going, because he's he's up and down against the Padres. He seems to be lights out against everybody else.
He's clean against everybody else.
Yeah.
There's 0 runs scored against everybody else.
So the Mets, I think, are 8-2 in their last 10. They're kind of on a hot streak. Well. They just came off of a sweep, or they swept whoever it was. I forgot already. But everybody's saying the sky is falling. The sky is falling. We're worried because in April, whatever we are, 19th, we're 12-9.
In first place. Oh, darn.
In first place.
Right. So what can you say, Marcus, to Dodgers fans to just kind of, 1, ease their mind, but 2, it's like, how much can we reassure them? It's just early. It's early.
I mean, I guess that's all I can keep saying, right? It's April. It's April 19th. We are 3 weeks into the season, basically. I think what happens is we especially when you follow a team this closely, you start looking at the day to day, right? And almost the inning to inning of a team, and looking at the ups and downs. And you sort of forget how long a baseball season is, like how many games, 162 games really is. And so I just think, you look at this team and they're still kind of, fitting pieces together. They're still waiting for guys to get hot. I mean, look, we talked about the bottom of the order struggling. I don't think they're all year long, right? I mean, even as bad as Chris Taylor has been, I don't imagine he's going to hit 0-29 or whatever it is. Up and breathe and look at how talented this team is, and understand that over the course of 6 months, I say this, the beauty of a baseball season being 162 games, and I know people complain that maybe it's too long, but the beauty of it is that over 162 games, talent wins out. The best teams eventually rise to the top, right? Every once in a while, sure, you get the Giants a couple years ago who played out of their minds and they win the division. You get the Diamondbacks who get on a run late and they get their way to the World Series. But generally speaking, 162 games is pretty much an equalizer. And this team is better than everybody else, certainly in the division, and better than maybe anybody else in the National League. So I think you just stop and breathe and just remember all of that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And most of the things, it's also Shohei Ohtani is one of the best hitters with runners in scoring position in baseball, maybe in baseball history. I don't know. I don't have the stats. But overall, he's hitting 286 for his career with runners in scoring position. He's 1 for 19 right now. That's going to even out. So those are the things that losing games because he's not getting hits this early it's understandable. He's hitting when guys are not on base. And I wish there was more when the guys were on base. But he's hitting the ball well. He's hitting the ball hard. So as soon as that kind of evens itself out, everything will kind of open up more in that sense too. The only thing I may disagree with you on is the Chris Taylor thing. He's 1 for 35. I don't know if that's going to get better. The way that he swings, the way that his uppercut swing underneath pitches, he's constantly looking to hit the ball out of the ballpark instead of just trying to put it in play. This is kind of what I saw with Cody Bellinger when his last couple of years as a Dodger, where he had the same type of swing. Now it got fixed. Apparently, when he went to the Cubs, something happened there. Like, good for him. Glad it's starting to work out. But the fact of the matter is, I don't know if that's going to get fixed just by continually putting him out there. Look, we got to give him close to 100 at bats, right? But I don't know how much longer we could, because he's the same dude as Kike Hernandez, and Kike is at least getting better as the season progresses.
So this is kind of off the beaten path. Are we worried? Is there any reason why the Dodgers, and you can let me know if you're kind of worried about this, why we don't know who's pitching for Saturday and Sunday?
I think Stone is pitching on Saturday, and then Sunday would most likely be Paxton, but I think they're going to try and push everybody back, and it's that 6-man rotation thing that we talk about all the time. Bullpen game.
Yeah. And Walker's nearly back too. I mean, he threw I think like 2.5 innings, something the other day, 68 pitches. So kind of a lot of pitches for that amount of innings, but
it's low for overall pitch count though.
Yeah.
I also think part of this is you've already planned a couple of bullpen games, but then you also are having games where you are unexpectedly having to use the bullpen just because guys aren't necessarily getting you deep. So I think, I imagine they're kind of mixing and matching right now, trying to figure out what to do with this. So I wouldn't read too much into it at this point.
No.
Well, okay. This was something I wanted to get into just because of how everybody's so worried about the skies falling and everything. I kind of wanted to read the records of the last, I think it's 21 games into the season since their postseason streak has started, which is 2013. So I'm going to give you just the numbers.
Research. Look at you, Parker.
and I just thought this was, something that may make Dodgers fans realize, like to Marcus's point, the ebbs and flows of a long season. This is just how it works out when you are a Dodgers team who wins almost 100 games every year. So 2013, 10-11. Not a great start, but you won 92 games in the end. 2014, 12-9. There we go. Same situation. We won 94 games in that one. 2015, 13-8. You go on for 12-9, 10-11, 11-10, 13-8. And then I think 2020, of course, the 60-game season, you started 14-7. And then you started to get a little hot these last couple of years, 2021, 15-6, 14-7. But last year, that great year, 100 wins, you only went 10-11. So no need to sound the alarms. Everybody relax. It's early. The only thing that is so disparaging that might be worrisome is, of course, that 7-9, the bottom end of the lineup, which, we can kind of get into today. I have some numbers that we can get into in a little bit, but I kind of want you to kind of just react, Greg.
So, I think it's very true. It is still very early. They always do start slow. Marcus, if we say to you, I think we said it yesterday, but I don't remember. I say things I don't remember when I say it. If we said to you they're about to go 60-20 in the next 80 games, would you say no, that's not going to happen? We're like, yeah, makes sense.
Like, yeah, that seems right. That's possible. That's because it's what they do, right? They kind of fumble around a little bit. They sort of win games on talent more than anything else. And they find a way to pull out some wins. And then all of a sudden everything falls into place, right? Where you get, everybody hitting up and down the lineup. You get great pitching starts. You'll get great bullpen work. It'll be like, you'll get those days where, hey, look, the days that the pitching's not working, they go out and they score 8 or 9 runs. The days when the offense isn't necessarily clicking, then you get 7, you get the Tyler Glass now 14 strikeouts in, 80 something pitches sort of days. They will go on those runs. Look, whether or not you like checkbook baseball, that's a reason that some of these guys get paid what they do, is because they can do these sorts of things. So no, like the fact that, if they turn around and somehow win like 40 out of the next 50 games, like, it wouldn't be a surprise at all.
No, it's what we would expect to happen. Because look, like I was saying, Shohei is going to start hitting with runners in scoring position. That's going to happen. James Outman is actually hitting the ball very hard and is starting to get on base much more often. And he's showing power too. He's hitting home runs. He hit a double in the last game. Those type of things are hitting the ball hard is starting to land for him now when it wasn't earlier in the season. So that bottom part of the lineup that he's a part of is going to start getting better. Hopefully Andy Paja starts to pan out, because 1 for 7, once he relaxes, I think that will be fine too. There's too many things that are kind of going wrong at the exact same time and still getting wins that I think all those things are going to even out, and that's why they're going to go on those runs. Freddie Freeman isn't even hitting right now.
Right, we're like, what's wrong with Freddie Freeman? I'm looking, he's hitting 276. I'm like, what's wrong with Freddie Freeman?
How dare you? It's the same type of thing. Like, he has, I think, 4 doubles right now. Would you be surprised if he has 50 at the end of the year? No, that's what he does.
He'll have a couple games where he hits 3 doubles. He'll have a triple double. He'll have a triple double somewhere in there. Like, it'll be fine.
Yeah, he's still on base even during a slump. He's like on base twice a game at least. With all the walks and just his batting. It's one of those things. It's like everybody was panicking because of a 12-9 start. 3 out of 4 of the last series were lost. But to this point, the runners in scoring position specifically, the team is almost batting 250. Because of that front half of the lineup. So, they're still the middle of the pack. I think that's good for 20th in the MLB. So it's not like they're the worst team in the league.
No, and that's with Shohei going 1 for 19. Like,
see, yeah.
Once that evens out, they're heading 300,
I mean, look, and we know this, right? Part of it is the expectations, right? That this team is, fans are like, we got to get to the World Series, so there's that expectation. There's the big names in this lineup. So, and I think honestly, part of it is the way they started, right? Was 9 games, 10 games, they scored 5 runs a game. So I think everybody just felt like, okay, well, this is what it's going to be, and so let's just get ready, and we're gonna roll on to October, forgetting that every single team is going to go through ups and downs and slumps over the course of 6 months. I mean, look, the Mets are coming in, right? The Mets started 0-5, and right. Trust me, I know multiple Mets fans, and they were already turning their attention to the Knicks. They're like, all right, well, then the Knicks are in the playoffs, whatever, let's do that. Now they turned it around, and the Mets are playing good ball right now. It just happens to everybody.
Yeah, there was nobody at their stadium.
Right. And also, you said it too, Marcus in the group chat. Like it feels like every single defense plays amazing infield defense against the Dodgers. Yes. Like Nico Horner was fantastic in those games, like with the Cubs. And who was it?
Luis Garcia.
Garcia, for the Nats.
For the Nats was making ridiculous plays that, like, normally those balls get through, and then that changes games. When you get single, and guys are moving around, it changes the complexity of the game. And like you can't like build up for really good defense. You don't know what's going to happen there. They just are playing tremendous defense, and good for them. It'll even out.
So we were kind of talking about it, and let's just do this 21 games in, because I don't think we've done it yet for the whole Blue Review. I'm going to ask each one of you guys, what is your predictions? How many games are they going to win this season? That way I can write it down and we can check back in later.
Did we not do it? No.
We never did. Yeah, Marcus, I'll start with you.
I'll go 105.
God, I can't do the same number, right? Because that was right where it was. I will say, just to be different, but I think it's about the same. It's 107.
I like that. I'm gonna go a little lower. I'm gonna go 102.
Okay.
Yeah. Feels like the price is right. Like, I'm gonna bet. What did he bet? 100? I'm gonna bet 99.
Is it closest without going over?
Yeah. We'll do the game.
So, I mean, like, look, it doesn't. I feel bad saying this because we're in a Dodger podcast, and it's like we talk about every single game and every single moment of every single series, but it doesn't matter what they finish with when they get to the postseason, as long as they're healthy, playing well at the end of the year, and really, really at the top of their game once they get into the postseason, and are hitting the ball in the postseason, actually hitting with runners in scoring position. What they're doing right now cannot be what they do in October. So I think that's also what's getting fans a little bit upset, because they're so used to October baseball where we don't get hits with runners in scoring position. So when they see it now, it's like, oh God, we're already in October. But as long as it's changed when it gets there, that's what's going to matter the most. But the season, we do got to play out a 162 game season. I guess it's now 141 game season. They're not going to go 141-0 over the rest of the time.
That's good math by you. Like, you did that real quick too. I'm impressed. Like,
thank you. I'm not the best with math normally, but ask Steve Mason. He would have been like, "That's 123." Like, it would have been a mess.
We did. So you mentioned that thing about the defense and everybody playing good. Ryan R in the chat says it's just that teams are bringing their A++++ game when they face the Dodgers, like specifically. And, being like a long time circling this to basketball and Lakers because they're about to start the playoffs, being a longtime Lakers fan, I felt that was always my mindset with them as well. It's like every time somebody comes to LA, some random bleep role player comes in and he just becomes a 3-point sniper. Is that the same in baseball? Like, do people show out when they come to Hollywood and into LA?
I think they do. And I think especially against this Dodger team, right? Because that's all everybody in baseball talked about all off season, right? Was, Shohei and Yamamoto and Tyler Glass now. And, oh, by the way, they still have Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. Like, I think everybody is bringing they're not the World Series champs, but this is going to be a lot of teams' World Series this year when the Dodgers come in.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to find the guy's name. There was a guy, I think he was on Utah playing against the Lakers this season, and he had like nothing. He had no more than 7 3-pointers in the season by the time he came in, or 12 3-pointers in the season by the time he came and played the Lakers. He went 7 of 9, and it's like that wasn't something that's not his game, and he still went nuts because there's always that one guy. Maybe it was New Orleans. I can't think of who it was, but there's always that one guy that goes off against the Lakers where it's a 3-point shooter. You're like, I don't even know who you are. And you just scored 35 points on 15 3-pointers. What the hell did that come from?
Yeah, no, it was literally Garcia for the Nationals. Wasn't it 3 legit diving plays that could have been
game
plays.
I would have driven in runs, either tied or put them ahead. Yeah, it was insane that the level of infield defense he was playing.
Just acting like he does it every day. I'm like,
Look, not every second baseman is a Gold Glove second baseman. But every second baseman plays like a Gold Glove second
against
baseman.
The Dodgers.
Against the Dodgers. That's what's happening game in and game out, it seems like. So it's just funny. Nico Horner's a good defensive player. Don't get me wrong for the Cubs. But, geez, ridiculous plays.
Just insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do we – I mean, I think over on the Mets end, Marcus, you mentioned you got some friends, some people in the industry who are Mets fans. Before we kind of get out of here and talk a little bit more about the Dodgers, what do we see in this Mets squad? I know they're on a hot streak, and Alonso's back to whatever the polar bear does on the usual years, 6 home runs already. What are we kind of seeing on that end? And are we a little worried at all for Yamamoto?
I'm with Greg though. It's the first inning. We'll know what kind of start it is after the first 3 or 4 hitters, right? That'll give us a decent idea of what the start's going to be like. I mean, look. Francisco Lindor is not hitting right now. If he could still not be hitting when they leave Los Angeles, that would be great.
Knock on wood.
Right? I mean, right now he's hitting $151. If he could still not be hitting all that well, that would be fantastic. And their starters have been sort of up and down this year. If they can somehow avoid seeing Edwin Diaz on any given night, then I think they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, I don't want to hear the horns. I mean, it's really cool what he does, but I don't want to hear it in any of these 3 games. But yeah, it's like you're right. It's what he does in those first 3 or 4 hitters. If he gets through those, Pete Alonso is always going to be a masher. So if you can limit that and make sure and find ways to get him out especially with guys on base, don't let him hit it out with guys on base. If it's a solo home run, you live with it. But you don't want those 2, 3, and 4 run home runs from him. That changes games.
That's right. All right, well, guys, this was a good episode, and it was a good hoodie and hat Friday.
I love hoodie and hat Friday.
It's the best. Everyone at home, if you're not already doing it, come and join us. Wear some hoodies and hats on Fridays because
I'm making a note of it for next week.
Yes. It's a good vibe. Dodgers got the Mets tonight at 7:10. Here in LA, and then I think tomorrow it's 1:05 and another 1 p.m. game on Sunday. So we're going to be watching that series, and we'll react. We'll be on social medias, of course. You can see our tags on the bottom of the screen there. If you ever have any questions, send them our way. We'll react to the series on Monday at the same time, 9:30 to 9:55. Thank you to LAX. And I don't know, you got anything else to add, Greg? This was a good day.
It was a good day, good week. It was a really fun. If you haven't yet, go back and listen to yesterday's pod with Doug McCain. It was really good stuff. And I think next week we'll try and bring on somebody else as well. I don't think we've discussed who it's going to be, but once a week we'll try and bring somebody in. And I try to get Trav in here. He decided not to come. Again though, go down to Torrance, hang out with Weedchella and the 2 Dudes 1 podcast with Casper Villa and Crypto Ray. It's gonna be a really good time down there. And Leon Hendricks. So
Leon Hendricks, man.
That's what you got to do. So enjoy the weekend. We'll see you guys all again on Monday.